Got a couple of rams in. Dog, look at the size of his neck.
No, he's got a duck.
Check there. Proper rams.
Proper Kap
Like
River ram.
check the colour.
Nice.
Just rake them up, eh?
So we
Oh,
done.
we shot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was a couple of rams. 6. They don't look at the colour of its body, but only it pegs about 7.
Yeah.
Who shot that ram?
I'm in Martin. I wasn't here, right? I was hunting. I was doing a job while you were having fun.
I think it actually was Martin. He shot it here.
No, that was another one when I was here. He shot that. Yeah, but I did. Bigger than that. Anyway,
I don't know who shot that one.
are we done doing show and tell?
No, I suppose reminiscing.
How's he bragging since Friday?
Oh wait, I'll show you.
Oh,
I'm gonna
yeah,
show you
okay,
this.
again.
I was gonna show you Wayne getting upset with me.
Yeah. That's the ram I was chasing.
That one and that one.
Dude.
Shot in the space of 5 minutes.
And he would bleed.
Dude,
I
I was
wounded
chasing
this
that
ram.
ram for a year.
I wounded this ram. I shot it in the same place I this wounded one of mine I got yesterday.
The difference is I would have put that on my wall. And he just kept the scorns.
I didn't know
And then he
the
went and
holes
shot a bigger one than that afterwards.
Yeah, knob stick.
And then-
No, look at that.
He's broken the 15-inch ram here on this farm. I haven't even got close to that.
This one was.
How big is that one? Was
15
just
and a
under
half.
15.
Oh no, the other one. Was,
other one you shot was 15.
and then I shot this
Oh,
big.
shit.
This is the
And
big
you
I
shot
shot
the big
in
in
the
the
afternoon.
afternoon. The size of the thing.
It's a nice pig, yeah.
Fuck, he didn't bleed. He just pointed the shoulder. It fucking died.
We all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? Let's go! Hey! Yeah, this is my life, my strife, my
Well, guys, I'm sitting here with these oaks playing show and tell, and this is part 2 of the Buffalo Hunt podcast. And Ryan's here with me, and today we've actually got the vet, the manager of the Anbull Wildlife Ranch, and we're going to talk a bit of smack. We're going to have a bit of fun. They left their cable ties behind today.
Yeah.
For those who have been following us on Instagram, they were supposed to tie it up with a cable.
But we got
Not
it right.
a cable, 2 cables. Yeah. Anyway, so guys, we have just finished up a epic hunt. It's been a tough few days if you combine for this whole hunting adventure. It worked out to a total, we worked out 8 days,
8 days.
before you got your buffalo. Obviously
8
you
days
had
of
to go
grind.
home, go back and work, come back, carry on. But
Yeah.
8 solid days in the bush to get lucky enough to get a buffalo late in the evening.
Yeah.
So Ryan's gonna run you through what happened and how it all went about, because we did Nick's previous one. Nick was lucky. He came, we'd found the buff, we'd done the hard work,
We put all the hard yards in.
and he got the stalk in and got to shoot a buff, a really nice buff, and Ryan has been very lucky himself to get a buff this hunt. So take it away and let the guys know what happened, yeah, and how the day planned out.
Look, obviously I came back again about a week later, and we did like 2-3 days of also grind and saw nothing. And yeah, that was tough. That was freaking tough to say the least. You know they're there, you track, you flipping finding spoor, you finding dung. We went down those cliffs, we went up and down and around, yeah. And
It's a
so
whole Finding Nemo episode. You know
Pretty
it's
much,
there, but
yeah.
you never see it.
Yeah. Flip. So anyway, so we did that, and then obviously I thought, no, well, these next couple of weeks have been so busy that we had things planned to do. We were actually supposed to do an impala hunt the weekend. That kind of got cancelled, so it was like, oh well, last run at the buff for the year. If we don't get it, then we'll have to look in the new year. So yeah, packed bags on Thursday evening. Got here late.
Yeah.
And then, we hit the ground running, but also weather was not the greatest. It was nice and cold because the front pulled in, which was cool.
Yeah, I think that helped us. But then the wind.
Borderline full moon, and
Yeah.
we know what these buffalo are like in this bloody valley. They don't come out. They sleep in the day and eat at night.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a bit concerning, but we did have some overcast day, and yeah, the wind picked up. And anyway, needless to say, the morning we also went around glassing from point A to point Z, trying to follow track. Eventually stuck trackers out on every
Lookout
nook and
point,
cranny
yeah.
that we had, that we could think that these buffalo are in a certain area. You've been running the trail cameras for us to know what areas they were in.
That wasn't any help either, because I only probably caught buff on 2 of the 6 cameras we had running out, and they weren't the footage wasn't enough to tell me, okay, let's go to that area. So we were kind of picking a needle out of a haystack.
Yeah, so anyway, so we did that, and then the tracker, one of the trackers finally spotted a buff in the thickest of thick places.
Almost
Lord
impossible.
knows how he saw it.
No.
And we went there to go and have a look, and it was a cow and a calf. But you literally saw the back end of it because its tail moved.
That's it.
That's the
In the-
smallest gap.
So for the guys who've been watching this all unfold, you guys watched the previous buff hunt and where we actually hunting these buff. It's in the thick of the Kap River Valley. And if you've never hunted the Eastern Cape near the coastline, either in the Fish River Valley or in the Kap or any of these river valleys going this way, Cowie and stuff like that, you will know what thick is all about. It's a wall thick. And he managed to spot a buffalo lying down in one tiny little pocket like that. When I got there, I still thought he's talking absolute bullshit. It was like, no, there, you see its tail swishing. I'm going, where? He says, look at the yellow tree. Look above the yellow tree. You see that black thing? That's a buffalo. I'm going, cuck, it's a shadow.
Sure, it took
And
me
I
a good 10
stared at it.
minutes.
Yeah. You stared at it, I stared at it, and I'm like, no, man. And then eventually it
It actually stood up.
moved its tail and it
the
stood
calf,
up.
and a calf moved. Then you see the yellow, the orange, the
orange
brown
calf,
And okay, no, definitely it is a buffalo now.
Yeah. So we left the guys on lookout there, and then we took a little
Yeah, we
stalky
took a
stalk down in that fiction. that was interesting. So we went down there, and obviously, being a guide, I've hunted buffalo quite a few times more than my brother,
Yeah.
and the experience of going in that thick stuff is a different experience. It leaves you with a very weird feeling. And especially going down there and having that wind, because where we found this buffalo was kind of at the point of where 3 valleys meet. And from the top, the wind was in our favor.
Yes, at the bottom.
But by the
swinging.
time we got to the bottom, it was swinging in circles. And then we smelt them.
You.
And I said to Ron, I said, yeah, you've never smelt that before.
No, not at all.
And it's a very, for any stock rancher that farms and has their cattle in a corral, and there's a lot of dung and stuff around, you get that strong dung urea smell. That's kind of what a buffalo smells like in the thick. You smell him,
Before you
sure
see
shit
it.
can't see him. So it gets all the senses going, and we managed to sneak our way in there and find a spot where you pointed it out.
They bedded down
A couple of
number
places.
of beds.
Yeah, but we did hear her get up and walk away from
Yeah,
us.
look, the guys also said no, she's got up and she's moved off. She hasn't run, she just kind of moved
She
up the
scented
valley.
us.
Obviously got our wind because the wind was swirling there. So yeah, we kind of went in, kind of sussed out the situation, looked around to see where they've gone, and we kind of backed out because it was about 12 o'clock in the day in the end.
Yeah.
So now we'll come back and hit the ground hard. We'll come and sit on the spot because they're up this kloof or valley, and we will wait them out like watching for bushbuck.
Yeah.
Literally.
So we came back, guys. It was midday, and then Ryan decides now he's going to take his crossbow for a little walkie walk.
Yeah.
Needless to say, I'm
supposed to
covered-
rest.
Yeah, we're supposed to rest. Needless to say, we're supposed to rest. I'm covered in pepper ticks, guys. If you hunt along the coast, you're going to need a lot of tick stuff. So I've stripped down into my tidy whiteys, but they're not tidy whiteys. They're funny retro camo jocks. Stick on my Crocs because I've kicked my boots off to rest my feet. And next minute, this like thwacks a pig with his crossbow.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I get there and I'm still in my jocks and my Crocs, and we're trying to track a damn pig. Got the dogs there.
Got the dogs there, everything. The shot was a little bit high.
Yeah.
That was definitely, it was a high shoulder shot. It broke the bolt off so it punched through, it made blood, but it wasn't sufficient like lung blood or anything like that.
Yeah.
But we tracked it for a good K and a half.
Yeah,
at
the
least.
dogs chased it. They managed to buy him up like once.
And the poor
and then
rib
the poor dog got eaten on the back leg.
got beaten up by it, and it carried on.
Yeah.
And then
And then eventually we started running
that
out
was
of blood.
about that was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was a good nearly 3 hours of tracking a warthog that we thought was dead within 50 yards.
Yeah.
So we left that. Unfortunately, that's what happens. It's hunting. It's not it's
Yeah.
not just shooting. You think you're going to get everything. Accidents and mistakes happen.
Yeah.
And
No,
I was.
saying with that. Play silly games, you win silly prizes.
Anyway, so you still haven't taken official kill with the
With the crossbow. yet.
but I'm still trying.
I think you must leave your string and stick it out.
Let's not go down that road. Anyway, so
That's another whole podcast in its own.
so anyway, ended up getting back here, boots back on, clothes back on, and booked it out here for the afternoon session for these
buff.
these elusive buff in this.
The ghosts. They definitely the ghosts of your guys' property.
Oh
yeah.
yes. No, they can stick away weeks on end without
Yeah.
seeing them.
So and guys, there are a fair number of buff in this property, and the vet, you've been there how long? On
7 years.
7 years at Anvil, and you've hunted plenty of buff there with
yes.
other outfitters and stuff like that. And if the guys don't come right without bumping the buff, it does become a bit of a rodeo, and you won't see them. They just disappear for 2 weeks in those valleys.
Yeah, that actually, if the guys put too much pressure on them, they're gone.
They're gone.
They're gone.
And then you kind of like stuffed. You gotta let them settle down and simmer to come back out again. Yeah.
5 to 10 days normally the case.
Yeah. So there are buff that are very wise to hunting pressure. Remember, guys, this is a hunting ranch. It's not a looky farm. These animals are hunted. They are wild, but they know straight away. And it's a famous thing when I have clients come out and hunt with us and they decide they want to hunt a giraffe. We were talking about it in the truck this morning when we went out for Nyala. Is I'll have a client say they don't want to hunt a giraffe because it is too tame. It's the picture. It's the picture of Africa. You see it stands there. It's too easy. It's not challenging. Until the day the client says, "Okay, let's hunt one," and then I had 6 giraffe pool that I knew of disappear, never to be seen for 2 weeks. And it's amazing how the animals pick up on the body mannerism and changes towards them. It's almost like a sixth sense.
Yeah.
You'll see like this old Nyala bull that you said we must go after.
Yes.
He's ready to be taken out. He's not going to last
Yes.
much longer. You see him every day of the
Every day.
week.
The
And then you
Ethiopian.
decide now,
Let's go and shoot. Let's go and shoot him. And,
go and have a look there, and he's
nowhere to be
he's
seen.
nowhere to be seen, and it's hunting, and people got this whole misconception that we just go out there and just squeeze the trigger, and that's not what we do. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more planning involved, like we've done with the buff. I've placed out cameras. We've been running cameras since before Nick's hunt. You work out how many weeks it's been since Nick's hunt to now.
been a while.
And if I look at all the footage of all the other game that I got on the camera, I got very, very little to work off of on those buff,
time,
because
yeah.
those buff just know where to move, where to go, and where their happy hidey hole is.
And it's as if they sense that there's a camera there. Because
Yeah.
they will come in, you'll just see the eyes, but they won't move in on it.
They're very, very sharp. And a lot of game is like that. Once those cameras have sat there probably for 2 months, where they've been sitting there and you don't visit them regularly
Yeah.
and leave your center all over the place, you'll start getting better results. But if you're trying to check them on a weekly basis, which was kind of what we were doing because of
Yeah.
the time pressure we were trying to work with, you do obviously run your scent in there every week.
And trying to beat the heat with the
And
sun
trying to-
approaching.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it's at. So we ended up back on the property for the afternoon, and we had some
was junk.
weather
Yes.
was absolutely junk.
Gale force winds, super temperature drop.
Yeah,
I didn't have high hopes for the afternoon, tell you the truth. I didn't have high hopes. It
But-
was one of those I was going to be bust third time round coming here,
Yeah, and-
10, 12 days in,
and no buff.
no buffalo. So yeah.
But we made it happen by absolute sheer fluke or sheer voodoo, or had our own
You
version
Jonty the stuff out of it. That's what you did.
So we were teasing our trackers. So guys, again, those who have just joined the channel and are listening to the podcast for the first time or watching this on YouTube, I have a tracker called Zwei. He has one leg, he goes around on crutches. He's one hell of a tracker and skinner. And we are working hard at getting him his prosthetic. We've got a prosthetic leg, but now to fit it to him and get him back in the bush tracking the way he was. But in the process of doing his buff hunts, we started teasing him about he needs to get to talk to his witch doctor.
Yeah, to help us.
So he said, last time he said, no, he spoke to his witch doctor. And I said, man, your witch doctor is useless. It didn't work this time.
Didn't give it enough money or
didn't do the right things. But then he went home for a weekend.
Yes.
So when he got back, I said to him, man, did you go speak to your witch doctor? He says, everything's organized. So I said, okay, no, that's cool. Game on. And then on this trip, we got his brother, Vuyo, to join us as well, to come help, because the last time we shot that damn buff in the bottom of freaking nowhere. And we were kind of expecting, the same thing. So just having the extra hands to get it out. So we got Vuyo to come along.
2 skinners.
Also another brilliant tracker and skinner. And yeah, just to make light work. And we decided to make our little stalk. We sent them to a lookout point.
Yeah, kind of to almost look in the same area we left in the morning where all the valleys join.
Yeah.
And we went around to sit above where the cow disappeared.
Yeah.
But I mean, also going into that super thick bush and that tall flipping head high bubus or that
Rhino bush
that we have, it's horrible because you think every time you climb off the edge to roll down to be able to get a better view, you just drop deeper and deeper into this stuff. So we eventually got onto a looky point.
Yeah, just
and we
cleared
kind of cleared there, and we said, okay, well, we're sitting here until last light. These buff have got to move, come out here somewhere. They were feeding in this area. And yeah, lo and behold, he's sitting there. There's a picture of us, Wayne sitting on the floor. Devet and I are chatting here amongst each other, and obviously
kind of half-arsing it, guys.
Yeah,
kind of like it was just a relaxing moment.
We only had like an hour of actual daylight, hour of daylight, or what people would call legal shooting hour. We had like literally an hour to go. And Wayne still made the bloody ass joke. He says, check, I see the buffalo. There they are there. They're eating across the way in the one valley. Underneath there's a blind there.
Yeah.
So the vet's like jumps to his barn nose. I'm looking for the
I'm
barn. And I look at the vet and I say, that's like pull the tit out of you. He hasn't even picked up his barn nose. He's telling us there's a bloody buffalo on the other side. It's bloody 400 meters away from us. You're not going to see that thing. So we laugh and he's sitting there. And I wouldn't, not even 5 minutes after that,
it wasn't.
Zwei jumps on the radio. He says, Booty, the buffalo. I've seen the buffalo. So like Wayne goes, where the buffalo? He says, no, they're in the blue bush below the blind. So Wayne says, what, you mean the blind across the way? He says, yeah, just above the pine trees. There's a buffalo pool. We've seen him. He's walking out.
And I look at these oaks, I'm like, nah, cuck. That's like, couldn't have been listening to our conversation.
I was like, no man, the oaks talking cuck to us now. Like, really? No, Booty, I promise you. He says, hurry up, they're feeding out. There's one, but he's just disappeared.
Yeah.
Well, now just game on, game plan,
action,
no time.
Action full speed, because now we literally got 40 minutes left of
time,
decent light to hunt. So we booked it down in the process. I just shouted to them to pick up the truck for us, which was closer to them, and they came and picked us up at a crossway junction on the property, and then we ran the truck up to an advantage point, which gave us probably about a 500-600 yard dash. There wasn't a little stalk. It was a dash.
It was like run to see if we can find them.
To see if we can get there. And all Zwei said to me, and there's one thing that's brilliant about him, is his explanation is pinpoint. I've hunted with a lot of other trackers, and they can almost get like lost in the whole excitement and stuff. So when it comes out to explaining to where I must go, what he's seen, how to do it, he's on the money. Where another guy will go a roundabout way and long wind asks it to me, and I'm like, no, just tell me where I need to go. And as I climbed up the truck, he handed me my shooting stick because he tapped on the truck and said, stop. So I stopped the truck. I was expecting to go closer.
Yes.
And he said, no, stop here. And he handed me the stick. He says, you see that black tree over there? That black bush?
Yeah.
He says, walk straight to it. And you look just other side, those buffalo there. And you must remember, there's a time limit now. That's probably taken us what felt like another half an hour.
No, 10
it was
minutes,
actually
yeah,
another
10,
10
15
minutes, you know,
to get
because
to.
of getting the vehicle to us, we getting to them. And I went straight across there, and we got to a spot where I could see the blind now. And I tell Ryan and the vet to just check this side glass. I'm just going to drop down to see if I can see like a little bit lower.
Yes.
Man, and I get down there, and as I peek around the corner, there's a road that runs in the bottom of this valley, and I spotted the buff walking on the road. So in my excitement, I call Ryan.
They're going to walk
We
straight
were
up.
just there.
I call Ryan to, hey, come here, I've seen the buff come in. So he comes running towards me. I see the buff walk across the road going up. When he's coming this way, I'm running back this way. And we've got this all on GoPro. So
One GoPro catching one way.
I'm running this way. He's running towards me. I'm running past him.
Yes.
And then we eventually made our way on that ridge. And then
Yeah.
we had to kind of be careful and play the wind.
And the wind was also pretty much in our favour there. 100%.
From that point, but we were
Yes.
where we were trying to get advantage. We were starting to walk ourselves
into the wind.
into trouble.
Yes.
And then it started getting exciting.
Yeah, no, look, then the adrenaline kicks in, and now you're seeing animals, and now you're trying to pick where. Because we first saw one bull
Yeah.
coming out, but they were feeding out up
Into
this
the
draw into the open, but there's still quite a lot of that blue bush. It's like a bit scatty.
Yeah.
And they started feeding out, but we had open hill again or backdrop that we had. We're hoping that they were actually going to go out
Out
more,
in
but
that-
they kind of fed a little bit
towards
towards us,
us.
which was in the strip bush. So we were on this side and they were on the opposite side.
Yeah.
And there was one round bush. Obviously, they're feeding out of this blue bush, and there was one round solid bush that they were feeding in behind. And
Yeah.
then we saw one bull and he disappeared. Then we all of a sudden saw a second bull and he disappeared. And then it felt like forever.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
stuck in there.
They
But
stuck behind. Meanwhile, they're just eating the grass on the other side, and we just can't see
them.
Then the first bull popped his head out. Now we don't want to shoot the first bull because we want to see what the second
Second
bull
bull.
looks like. Because obviously we're there for a specific size. You know, we don't want to make mistakes. It's timeline is not on our side.
Yeah.
You don't want to rush anything. So. Yeah, we stood there, managed to get the two bulls to feed out, and both bulls were shooter bulls
Yeah.
for us. So it was, well, pick the best one that gives the
best
better
shot.
shot. And what happened is
But prior to this, as you're leaving out, is
oh
that
yeah, the freaking cow.
where we were standing, the cow came out and she literally swooped her head up.
She
You
looked
know
at
when
us.
it's like when you stand on a stick or something. Poor Dan on the last hunt and his Nyala bull got away from him. This cow literally went
I
whoop.
don't know what it was.
We don't know what it was. It wasn't us, but she looked straight at us. And
I went cold.
These
I thought
buffalo
they were
with
gone.
arched stuff. This is our opportunity. It's gone. And she disappeared. She put her head down and disappeared, but she didn't run off.
They were about 60 to 80 yards
60
away from
yards
us. I mean,
away
we were
from
so
us.
close, and we were literally standing in the open.
There was no
we're not
more
even-
cover
yeah,
again.
we weren't
no, we
even-
were actually in a line
Yeah.
trying to just.
And then she came out again and did the exact same thing and looked straight at us. And we're like, oh, we're done here. While we were still waiting for the bull,
Yes.
the second bull to come out. And then she fed towards him.
Yeah, she turned away, which
Helped
was
us.
a little bit of a sigh of relief there.
Yeah.
Because I thought she was going to bust, and they're just gone. There was no, when one takes off, they all just follow.
Yeah. So then yeah.
But prior to that morning when we were checking those buffalo out, I moved to a point where I called you.
Yes.
And I said to you that I was hearing buffalo in the bottom.
So we've all under the discussion now. We were trying to figure out, is this herd part of the cow and calf that we saw, that we tried to stalk up the valley, or is this a different herd that De Wet, when he heard walking down on those stones and stuff? And it's more than likely it's this herd that
They
you
came
heard,
out that
and they
little
came
point.
straight out of that point. And we had a tracker further down that valley, and he saw nothing. So that morning we just missed them. They must
Yeah.
have just gone in and fed
Yeah,
into
they
that,
went and lay down
and then
and
lay
then-
down in the cool. Because
Yeah.
these damn things are basically nocturnal, guys. It's really sun just coming out and sun just going down, where they're feeding out into these slopes. It's literally like hunting bushbuck.
Yeah.
If you've ever hunted a proper bushbuck in a valley, not something in someone's alfalfa field.
Yeah.
That type of thing. But yeah, then we got you all set up, and now it was just which
Came
one.
on, yeah.
Yeah.
Came on. So yeah, so we sat there, and then obviously it was neither here nor there which one we can take.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I already said, okay, well, the second bull's pretty much broadside for me. The first bull had kind of
Turned away.
and was feeding away again. So it's so weird how they come out. You think they're just going to feed? If they come out broadside to you, they're going to be just cruising along. They're so funny. They zigzag. It's like 2 steps like this, then they'll turn, and then they'll 2 steps eat that way, and then they'll eventually turn 2 steps, and then they might turn towards you.
Yeah.
Just a funny, like they do a snake pattern when they're actually moving along, feeding. Lord knows why. It's like instead of just putting their head down like a tractor and just plowing up the land, let's eat.
Yeah.
They're obviously smelling
Picking.
what they want to, picking and choosing the grass and whatever that they're eating.
Yeah.
So at that stage, the first bull had kind of turned, and he was obviously tailing me. There was no shot on him, and then the second bull came out, and he was literally feeding behind a lower bush, and I got his shoulder came out, and I said to Wayne, all right, now I'm gonna take him. So yeah, squeezed the trigger off, and I hit him, but I knew I had to be super fast because the time frame that we were shooting in.
We had probably
half an hour if we were lucky.
half an hour before it was pitch black.
Yeah. So I hit him, and I hit him solid. He humped up, leg went kind of straight, but there was a bush that he kind of jumped in
Just
behind. And they didn't know we were there also,
Which
which
was bonus.
was also very good. So all the others ran out into the open to see the commotion, and he turned and came limping back
to the herd.
towards the herd. And I was throwing the sticks by that stage, and I hit him with the second one behind the shoulder, and he nose dived.
Yeah.
He didn't give a bellow then. I think he bellowed
No,
on
he
the
bellowed
third
on
shot.
the
So
first.
with that stage, I'd already Buff second shot in. He's going uphill.
Yeah,
if he crests that hill, we are tickets. We are going to be coming out at 12 o'clock
If we lucky.
if we're lucky with this bull, because that valley is deep.
Yes.
And as he was going up, and he was wanting to join the herd that was pulling him, I managed to tailpipe him with the third shot, which kind of hit him into a bellow and a handbrake.
Yeah.
So they eventually went and stood on the ridge, and the others went over, and he went slowly over. And yeah, we obviously didn't sit back and relax like we would generally
What
do
you
on a
generally
buff.
take a bit of time.
Just give them a few minutes to settle down. It's more that, oh no, we need to find him before it's dark. We don't want him to move off. So we booked it up there, and we got to the ridge, and he literally just crested and went and stood. He was super sick. His head was down. He was tickets. So up on the shooting sticks again, put another shot in him, and I dropped him. So I thought, oh well, good shoulder, a high shoulder shot that I put into him. I did rush my shot. I kind of hit him on the neck, so I pulled my shot, but he went down.
Yeah.
And he's done. He bellowed, and you're like, oh well, no, he's
Game over.
He's game over. And I mean, that was probably about 60 meters away from us, I think, at that time.
Yeah.
60, 80
I would-
meters, somewhere around there.
I think he was a bit closer than that. He was
But-
probably 60, between 50 and 60.
But yeah, but with that, we standing there, well, we heard him bellow.
Now we're trying to let him expire.
Yeah, just wait for him to expire, and he actually tried to get up again.
Yeah.
So it was also one of those. He was literally lying on the edge of the roll down. If he'd gone 2 to 3 meters, he was gone.
rolling to the bottom.
Rolling to the bottom of the kloof. So he stood up there, but he kind of faced us. He saw
He knew where we were.
He faced us.
Sizing us up. Yeah.
And but I think I'd broken his shoulders enough. He couldn't actually push off them. He kind of had his bum in the air, and his head down, staring down. He couldn't move. So I still said to Wayne, I said, no, well, I'm gonna
Switch
his lights out. Off the sticks, I'm gonna bang him in the head. I don't need to get any closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did. We even went 10 yards closer.
Yeah, 10
so it
yards
was about
closer.
40.
Yeah, so I aimed, obviously hit him in the head, and he flipped over, head flung back,
And he bellowed
and
again.
he bellowed again. I'm like, okay, well,
He's done.
he's dead. Walked up to him, and with that, his eyes still flickering, his
And he's
mouth
trying
is
to
still
get up.
breathing, and I was like, no, well, I can't now. So I obviously placed a shot into the chest cavity, and there's where
And
he expired.
finished it up.
So yeah, difference between not knowing you there, putting 2 good shots on them, expiring out,
So
to I think the adrenaline and the pressure of us wanting to finish it quickly in the time frame just created
more adrenaline.
more
But
adrenaline,
also,
more shooting.
but also once we checked the bull out, your first shot was low.
It was low, yes.
So, and this is where I always say to a lot of people is like, a buff will go down quickly if he's unaware like that and you put in a perfect shot.
Shots, yeah.
Doesn't matter what rifle you shoot him with, 375 and bigger, if you shoot him in the right spot and he's unaware, he'll go down 40 yards.
Yeah.
But that shot it also just, it did damage.
Yeah,
It broke
it
his
broke
leg,
his leg
it
and
took the bottom of the brisket out,
out.
it took a bottom of the lung out.
Yes,
It-
but
it-
not.
It
yeah.
hadn't quite done enough damage.
Yes.
And then your second shot made it, because now he didn't, that started creating adrenaline, and by the time your second, third,
shot.
fourth
You know,
shot,
those shots were all good.
they were all good shots. They were all in the money, but the adrenaline was already high. And this is what I try and explain to guys. You know, Buffalo is a different beast
He's running on nitrous.
if he's switched the nitrous button on. Yeah. So yeah, that finished us. We got a buff in a sweet spot to retrieve. Last time we chopped the buff up and carried it out for 4 hours.
Yeah.
This time we managed to get it to a spot where we can get, the vet got his guys there with a nice front loader tractor, and
off we went.
and off we went. But yeah, now we've spoken about the hunt, and I've had a lot of people asking, why are we shooting these buffalo? Because that's always the telltale. What's the reason for hunting the buff? We get questions basically
It's too young.
from
Yes.
yeah. So from the international hunting perspective and other outfitters and other non-hunters. So first would be the non-hunters. Why are we shooting buffalo? And we explain to them it's sustainable herd. We want to sort out and make sure that the carrying capacity of the property can sustain the number of game. So that's the baseline of taking animals. But what we're doing here is something different. You can explain to the guys why we hunted these specific bulls out of this herd, because Ryan's bull was by no means a hard boss bull.
It's full
Okay,
6-year-old bull.
he's a 6-year-old bull. We all came to that. He's hard to the top and then he's soft in the middle. Same with Nick's bull, 3/4 of the way hard. But there's a reason why we're hunting these bulls, and you can explain to the guys what's the plan for the property and why we're doing
Well, this is all just boils down to management and the number of buffalo on the property.
Yeah,
I mean, we got those guys. I followed a lot of your things online where guys comment and have their 10 cents. So, give or take, we're sitting with over 60 buffalo on the property.
yeah,
60 plus. Carrying capacity on the buffalo with all the other species on the farm, we should be carrying about 35 buffalo.
yes,
Then, obviously, I've had an outfitter there. We've actually looked. We had 17 bulls
yeah,
with 3 cows.
with 3 cows.
So
Your ratio is a bit out.
they're very high.
Yeah.
So obviously the bull numbers are high. There are a lot of, I'm going to say it as it is, crap bulls
Yeah.
that we want to get with.
So also just to kind of paint the picture for the guys that don't understand what we're talking about, a crap bull or an inferior bull. You must remember, we all want to have that magnificent Roland Award bull. We all want to get to that shooting a 38 to 42 inch bull, creme de la creme, and 40 inch plus mark is kind of where you want to go with this. And on the property, we spotted some
Gems.
bulls that are going to be that hard, like really rock hard bulls, between 37.5 to 40. We saw them.
Yeah.
And we
some
saw
younger
a
bulls.
young bull that was bum soft,
Yes.
still white on the top of his head, which is reaching that 40 mark. He's going to be a 40 plus bull. That he's an exceptionally wide bull for his age, and this is where your boss, the owner of the property, is wanting to get his buffalo to a quality. Of thing. Now you're sitting with so many bulls that are inferior. So the bulls that we were targeting were those 36 and under.
That's it.
So, like Nick's bull, for example, guys, we haven't given any measurements on this. We measured Nick's bull and it was 34 and a half or
if it
30,
was lucky.
and that bull was almost hard all the way. And we don't want those bulls breeding the cows.
No.
And we measured this bull of Ryan's and it just touched 35. So he was already hardening up. And when a bull hardens up, and guys can correct me on this, and I've been hunting a fair number of buff, and I've been hunting for a good few years. Once your buff boss is hard, there's no width growth to that bull. That bull's got to get width when he's young. Because by the time he starts shrinking, where the boss starts hardening, the
You
width
lose.
actually comes in.
Yeah.
That's my experience of it. Other guys can jump on here and tell me I'm talking shit. Free to do so. Leave it in the comments and give me a reason why you would
You
think
reckon it
it's
still
still
grows
growing
after
after
it's-
its bosses
it's
are hard.
hard.
Because once its bosses are hard, it's an 8 to 10-year-old bull. It's done growing, my man.
We'll take an example at a hard boss bull that I picked up.
Yeah.
That bull is rock hard, and we all estimated him at what?
I think what is he was like 34 to 35.
Yeah, he was.
If he was
If he was
lucky.
touching 35,
Yeah.
that would be like a hell of a deal.
Hell of a deal. So yeah, that's why you've kindly offered some hunting to me to come and help you weed these out and do a different like a different approach to
That's
it.
what I wanted to say now. It's easy to go in there with a bunch of guys and chase buffalo out and shoot in front of the foot, like I said in Afrikaans, skiet voor die foot.
Yeah,
But now you end up shooting a 42-inch bull.
yeah. You're shooting
still
your
wanna
you're
suffer.
shooting your breeder. Yeah,
Yes.
which you want to breed your cows to increase that quality.
I mean, you saw some quality cows.
Yeah, there's some big cows. There's some
Um,
really big cows.
I mean, almost all the cows are calves.
Well, at the
So
moment,
we've
so
got it
so
in-
the way we're doing it is extremely selective, and
Which makes it tough too.
it makes it extremely hard. And this is where we're trying to. South Africa gets a stigma of hunting as it's an easy place to hunt because of game farms, game fences, high fences, and stuff like that. And guys, if it's done right and you find the right person to hunt with, the right outfitter, or the right areas, you will have one of the most challenging hunts out there. We've done everything from stalking to sitting and glassing hours, the valleys. We've spent hours and time on these buffalo to try and shoot a specific bull or a specific bull of size.
Well, they're so people and vehicle sensitive. I mean, you've got to spend a lot of your time in the bush on
In the
foot.
bush on foot.
No vehicles. They hear a vehicle, they disappear.
Yeah.
They hear a person, see a person, they disappear. I mean, we've had a helicopter. We've sat above the buffalo with the rotor wash opening the bush, and the buffalo just stand and look at us.
And they don't move.
run.
Yeah. So it's a hell of a hunt and a hell of an experience. And you can say whether you enjoyed it or not. You've got a buff.
No.
That's the cherry on the cake.
Well,
but
that's it,
you'd come
And the
back
experience.
how many times, and the experience of it.
Yeah.
I remember the first day I took you out with Nixon, and we got in on those buff and we got close. It
No,
kind of draws you back.
100%,
And
yeah.
and you got the typical shit. We came so close. Yes, I need to do that again. And the next time around, yeah, we hunted our guts of and saw less than a rabbit. And literally, it's that
But it was
like
even the
demotivation, but there was still
It
excitement
was
of
still
finding the
excitement.
track.
I mean, we found fresh track. We found like fresh choppings. Like I'm talking fresh choppings within like a 6-hour period before we were there.
They were still green.
It was still green. It was still wet. It was, and but it's long hours, So when you do that and you start tracking and look, I mean, even this thick bush, it's not like hunting Zim or anywhere where the guys actually can pick up track and follow track in the sand and the whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got lots of grass. So you're picking up track where you've got sandy areas or they've gone down a dirt road or they've crossed at a water point or whatever,
Yeah.
a river area. But once they hit those grass fields, you have no cooking clue where they've gone.
Unless
And-
it's rained and he's leaving divots in it.
and you literally go from one bushed up valley kloof to the next one to see if you see any track going in
or coming out on any of the paths.
So yeah, like I said, I also at one stage said, no, well, I'm done glassing for these things. We're gonna just
We're
get
just
to
gonna
hell or
track.
high water. We're gonna go down this valley and just walk slowly because it's one monster valley with
Yeah.
all these klooves coming out of it or these little, blind.
And then when we hit the rivers, the basically the Kap River itself, when we started stalking in there, and you don't like it at all.
I don't like it.
Yeah, no, listen, it's thicker.
Ryan and I took it on, and amongst those damn freaking palm trees. Now that's a whole freaking. Where do you hunt buffalo in amongst freaking palm trees? And in this thick stuff, and then you're going inside there, and you think, it's just a tiny little valley, because when you're standing there, the valley is 20 meters wide.
Yeah,
If
but
you
it
look at
is.
30 meters wide, the widest part's 50.
But about
But once you
150 meters deep.
but once you get in there, it's freaking deep. You've got trees that are towering above you.
I mean, like you said there, that I don't like it, and to be honest, I don't. I mean, I took you guys down to that spring area on our eastern side, and that's where I got run over by a buffalo cow while checking fences.
Yeah, because you're in the thick of things.
Yeah.
So
Gotta be
it's,
wide awake.
you got to have your head on a swivel, and it's one hell of a challenging hunt. And like I say, anyone who wants this type of experience,
It's the real experience.
come and hunt buffalo the way it should be done, and get the full experience of it. Drop us a message in the DMs if you want to come and do what Ryan did, but you're gonna have to have time on your side. This is not a place where you're gonna wander in and think you're gonna shoot it within the first 5 days.
And the catch is with the situation too. If you see the buff on day one, shoot it.
Yes.
There's other things you can do in between that, because there is no guarantee. We went day one, shot a buff. 4 days later, nothing. Another 3 days later, didn't see a rat. Came on to the next 3 days that I had, day one, shot the buff. Because there was no question of, no, we'll leave them till tomorrow, or we'll find them on day 5 or day 6. Not in this stuff.
It's also becoming a bit of an opportunistic animal.
That is the reality of it. Have the open mind. If you're coming to hunt the buff in this area, you be prepared. If you find buff on day one, don't walk away. You know,
you take the
opportunity when the hunting gods say.
And have the right one standing in front of you.
Yeah.
Well, then that's where you got to your hunting brain kicks in, and you got to figure it all out.
Look,
take
it's
it
all
nice
fun
and
to
slow.
you. I know for foreigners coming in, they want the full experience. They want the time. They want to use their time accordingly. They don't want to shoot every animal on day one.
Yeah.
But reality is, it's the same thing as when your outfit or your PH says to you,
shoot that.
hey, you don't have a bushbuck on your list, and there's a 15-inch plus bushbuck ram standing there.
Yeah.
No, we'll see. And you walk away from it. That type of animal, the guys that have gone years not shooting those animals.
Yeah.
Those buff on this side are exactly the same. You know, you when you see them, make it count. If you know, look, if you bust it up and you don't get it, you've had the experience, you've seen the buffalo are there, you've worked your ollie off for it. And,
it's an achievement.
You know, at the end of the day, that is all that. Look, we all look for the experience, but it's also nice having the end result.
Yeah.
So that's also one thing. You know, don't pass them up. If you see them on day one, don't go, no, we're gonna go and look for impala or blessbuck or whatever. We'll come and buff on day 3 or day 4. Oh, good luck.
You're not going to see it.
Good luck.
So there, guys, you heard it straight from Ryan and the vet as well. And look, we're talking specifically Eastern Cape. This property is not the only property I hunted buff on. I've had a property now this year, a really, really good property. Went in there thinking, this is going to be a freaking cakewalk. Luckily, I'd booked 12 days with my clients, and I shot my first buffalo on day 6. And the same thing that Ryan said. We spotted them on day 1. I should have shot the buff on day 1 with the client. I had the opportunity. But the client's rifle arrived, his ammo didn't arrive, he wanted to shoot it. So I was like, okay, we'll wait for the ammo to get there. And then we started hunting our...
And then weather turns.
Weather turns, the rain came in, the next guy that came in saw the buff on day 1 again. We eventually shot the buff on day 4 or day 3 because the weather turned on their head and they just disappeared. They end up in that thick valley. So we're talking specifically Eastern Cape coastal area. It's a tough hunt regardless of what property you go and hunt on. And any game, depending, you might find some character who's got it in a fenced hockey for you. If that's your style of hunting, let's not judge. You're more than welcome to go hunt in that style. But if you want the real experience, look through your outfitters, ask the questions, and try and find the hunt that suits you. At the end of the day, there are guys that are wanting the African experience, but aren't mobile or fit enough to do what we did.
No, 100%.
So then your outfitter needs to cater towards that. So don't go judge somebody on where they're hunting and what we all hunters. We all enjoy getting in the bush. Sometimes, the body doesn't allow for the mountain climbs anymore, but you still want to shoot that specific species. There are guys that can cater and help you. Even going as far as guys putting their clients on their backs in a pack and carrying them to the top of a mountain. You do find those oaks that will go the extra mile. So make sure you do your homework on your outfitters.
Sure.
Yeah. But other than that, any other ideas or thoughts or you guys want to share about the hunt? So that was the buff hunt. You know, we haven't even tackled into what we did freaking next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So guys, look, Ryan came out for his target species, but you must remember this is something about Africa that you can decide to shoot other stuff while you're here. So
Yeah.
he came and he wants to fill his freezer, so we went after warthog.
Yeah,
Waterbuck,
warthog. Yeah,
bushbuck.
obviously the home farm, so I can come and have a look. See, I haven't hunted anything here in the last couple of years, so it was nice to go out with friends
Yeah.
2-3 weeks ago and managed to get them some nice animals. They got their bush pig. Dan, for the first time, 12 years old, shot himself a corker bush pig and
really
shot himself
nice
a really nice bushbuck ram.
Yeah.
You know, nothing, you know, not trophy, not record book stuff, but still good representative quality trophies. So they are, yeah, and it is tough hunting. So, yeah, I'd done the buff, so then the next day was like, oh, well, what else can we do? And the weather was quite warm.
Sure.
So, yeah, from one extreme to the next, from like 18 degrees to nearly 30 degrees.
Super warm yesterday.
So yeah, we decided we're going to head out. Wayne and I are going to split up. I was going on the Fish River side to go and look for warthog and bushbuck and nyala and stuff like that. And Wayne was going to hunt the opposite end of the property for the same stuff.
Yeah.
The vet was supposed to join us, but
He decided to go shopping.
Yeah, well, he had to go fetch his son to come back for the bush pig. So that was his excuse.
Sun and washing machine.
Can't hunt without clean hunting clothes.
So anyway, so Wayne and I obviously went off. I took 2 trackers with me. The main boy on the farm, Msogolo, and I took the boyo with me. And obviously, Msogolo dropped him off in his spots. I said, go and glass for me, see what you can find. We've got some old lands that have like treed up and whatever, but the pigs like the area. I went to go pick up the cards from the one bait site. So
Yeah,
we're kind
because
of doing a couple
we just
different
had
things.
Yeah, we just had the poachers. That's another big thing we're dealing with here a lot at the moment is it's Africa, they're poachers. People are always hungry and wanting to do stuff and then just freaking blatantly stealing. So my pig bait got hit with their dogs and stuff. They came and hunted.
Not by us, but by
by the poachers. And then what they did in the process, they've got so clever with the trail cameras now that they actually steal the SD cards. They don't take the trail cameras because the trail cameras, if the security company gets on them, they've got evidence to arrest them on. So what they do now is they steal an SD card. How do you prove that it's your SD card? Unless you get the footage off of it. But you need to find the oak and have a picture of him to find him. And they're stealing the pictures of them. And then they stole all the solar lights off the bait site. So I went there the first night to go sit. I get there,
got no lights.
I got no lights and I didn't take a torch with because I've got so used to our bait setups are set for pigs, fluorescent, little floodlights. I don't need to take a torch with, so I had to turn around and come back. So
I did that, just changed cards out because also now we wanted to know if the pigs had been eaten or they managed to get away from the dogs the poachers that were chasing them. So got the cards and obviously went and sat out on our like lookout points that anything comes out there from kudu. I shot kudu there. Nyala, bushbuck, warthog. Whatever's floating in that area, feeding. It's a quarry area with water. Nice short grass the pigs enjoy. And same thing. Trackers have got eagle eyes. I don't know how they see some game. And almost the same area that we spotted the Nyala bull that we tried to go after with Dan. Bushbuck ram on the ridge. It's a kilometer away.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it with him explaining to me what we had. I saw this brown little body standing in bush that's about as high as it. When it picks its head up and I saw its horns on top of its head. So we made the stalk in and we're going along the road, going up towards this area. We're still quite far from it. And Msogolo, the other tracker, called on the radio. He says, Boetie, there's warthogs running straight towards you on the road. So we kind of stopped, but I think he was so far, he saw animals moving, thinking it's a warthog. It was a warthog. Meanwhile, it was 3 bushbuck ram that came straight towards us. But in the process of this, now you start to put the pictures together, I heard dogs hunting. And obviously the poachers were hunting on the Fish River. I don't know if they were on our side of the property or they were down on the river. But the dogs had started going crazy. And obviously these animals decided it was time to
when dogs are there, they move.
The wind was perfect. They literally ran straight towards me. I saw a very nice big ram, but he didn't give me an opportunity. He he kind of ducked off and went down a valley. And then another little young ram came sneaking along. I think he bumped into us at 20 meters and disappeared.
Yeah.
Then a third ram came through. No trophy by any means. It was a good
Just a
meat ram.
neat
He
ram.
actually had really shitty horns. So it was, okay,
Nice
I'm
ram to
going
shoot him.
to shoot him out anyway. And he was between me and a bush that was about 40 meters away. And I'm on a road, literally a chop road. So I snuck forward just to get a bit more length of road to see, because there was a bend on the road.
Yeah.
So I kind of got myself to the bend so I could see probably maximum 100 meters up the road. And I thought, this bushbuck's going to come straight across the road, sneaking along. I'll
Have
shoot
a
him.
good shot
I'll
there.
have a good broadside shot as he's coming past. I mean, and where he was probably about 40 meters away.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, he actually doubled back. He turned and come across the road, probably about 60 meters away from me, and actually turned and was trotting away from me, thinking, oh, well, he's gone, and he actually hesitated to stop to listen for something. So I don't know if he maybe had heard me going up the road, which made him deviate, or there was something that he was bugging. He didn't know what actually scared him, because he
Yeah.
actually had looped back. He was going back the direction he come from.
from.
And he was quartering away from me. He kind of turned, but he literally one more step and he was into the bush.
Yeah.
So as he turned, I had the quartering away shot. I thought, oh, well, I'm going to slip it in down on the last rib and out, and squeezed the shot off, hit him. I thought it was perfect. I hit him behind the shoulder. Now the mindset goes into, oh, where did he go? Because I thought he jumped straight into the bush in front of him. Meanwhile, the guy jumped left and he was out of my sight and actually had disappeared to my left where he had come from. So luckily the tracker, Msogolo, further back, actually said, no, Buddy, I'm looking on the right. He calls on the right. He says, no, man, your bushbuck is flick-flacked and rolled to the left in
Yeah.
amongst the scrub. He says it's lying there.
Yeah.
He didn't see it get up and disappear.
Disappear.
So we go along. I'm like, here's the blood right here on the road. Here's lots of blood. Here's the bush. It's a pile. I said, no, where's this bushbuck now?
Can't find it.
Gone. So now the track starts. But he'd gone 10 meters, but now we're into a thick kloof with brush. You can't even see 5-10 meters in front of you. So follow the track, myself and Levuyo, and we bump him. He barks at us and he moves off. So we get to that point, we go, okay, now we go again. So I come out because now it's open on either side, hoping that he's going to break, that I can have a shot to finish him off. Levuyo follows the track. But it was strange. He would bleed and there would be no blood. But we following track. It's taking us 10 minutes or so to move like 5 meters or 6 meters.
Yeah, so you're moving slow.
Super, super slow. Eventually I got on the radio, called you. I said, please bring your dogs. I said, because this ram is so sore, he's not moving. Needless to say, it was a bit of a hair-raising situation. Wayne can explain what he got.
So I get back here
It's
and
about half an hour to 45 minutes later that you arrived there.
So I was on the arse end of the farm back that way. And I just got myself set up above a little valley, and I was wide glassing another area, and I'm sitting in the shade here. And on my way there, I heard Ryan's shot. The wind was blowing, like it was gale force wind basically. So I could hear the shot. It blew it straight to me. And I got onto WhatsApp and I was like texting, was like, did you get what you shot? Because now it's a long period of not hearing what the guy shot. Normally Ryan will shoot something and like, I shot an ass ram, or I shot something, or yes, I missed a pig, or whatever the case may be. But no response. Then I get please bring your dog. I've shot a bushbuck and we can't find it. So.
And I knew where it was. It hadn't come out of an air.
It was one little spot.
Yeah.
But I booked it, I got the dogs. And Rip has been eaten by the warthog the day before. And I was stood there in 2 minds going, yes, do I take him? But he came to the bucky hall, he's ready to go. Load him up, load Rocky up. Get there, Ryan points out, he says, we last heard the ram bark there. That's the last bit of blood. So I go in with Levuyo and we get there. And Rip and Rocky are busy sniffing around. Rip trots off this way. I'm like, man, is he messing about? He is a young dog, but it looks like he's in. I show Rocky the blood, and Rocky takes off on the track. So I'm trying to look in front while Levuyo keeps track, and he goes this way around the bush, and I go around the bush on the opposite side. And I see Rip come across in front of me, but Rocky's gone. And I think what actually happened is Rocky got to the bushbuck before
Yeah.
Rip did. Rip was smelling the track, and that bushbuck was lying in ambush. All you heard were two dogs screaming. And guys, if you've never hunted bushbuck before, they've
The worst-
injured more dogs and more
worst animal
people
to track.
than most animals. You know, when they're wounded, they are evil bastards. That's the only way to explain it. They sit and wait. I've shot a bushbuck lining up a dog on a beated hunt where the dog is coming down the track, and I watch the bushbuck run down the track, stop off the edge of the footpath, put his horns down and his hair up, waiting for the dog running down, and he was just going to spear him as he came past, and I shot him. And with that, with the dog screaming and going thing, it wasn't like two dogs fighting. These dogs were trying to get away.
Yeah.
And the bushbuck nearly ran me clean over. It came straight at me, and when it got in front of me, it turned. I couldn't get a shot. It was too thick. But by this stage, poor Rip
Rip had
was
been poked.
was
Yeah.
poked by the ram. He came running out to me. He had been hit in the throat by the bushbuck. Luckily, I got my thumb put pressure on it. Didn't know if he'd hit an artery or what, because it was just a pool of blood. Took my shirt off, wrapped him up, and Ryan and them carried on with a whole lot of panic in between it and everything
Yeah.
like that. Now, poor Rocky wouldn't chase the damn thing.
Yeah, he's petrified.
He was petrified. So the guys got on the track again. I got Rip back to the truck, settled him down, checked the bleeding, and it stopped. Checked he hadn't been I didn't have to rush into the vet, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So he got one hell of a
Got a big
beating,
fright, eh? I
beating
think
in
it
a
was
dark
a mess,
alley.
yeah.
That's kind of the best way to explain it. He got a pipe to the head without seeing the person.
Yeah.
So yeah, then it was game on for you guys. Eh? It's
Now,
just-
listen, it was a long track, but I'll fast forward it. We were following pinprick blood to little pools of blood, and
yeah, you thought by now your brain was messing with you. You
I
thought
thought-
you'd shot the thing in the back
I
leg.
thought I'd hit it in the back leg because we were picking up bits of bone, and the blood was obviously very bright red. It's like a muscle or like a small vein or artery that had been bleeding.
Yeah,
I
it
was
wouldn't have been like
we'd
that.
given it enough time. I think if I'd hit it and I clipped lungs properly, this thing should have expired by now, which it hadn't. So we kept following, kept tracking it. This is where you need good trackers.
Yeah.
I don't care which way you look at it. They've got to know what they're doing.
They've got to have a neck
I
of the
got about
bush.
an hour. And I mean I can track as well, but I got to about an hour and a half in there. When you start finding pinpricks of blood and it's bone dry, but you must
And you
know,
know
the
there's
heat of the
distance.
day. I shot the ram before 10 o'clock,
And we
and this was at 12 that we still following this ram.
we only
Still-
got him at 1, eh?
yeah, eventually at 1 o'clock. It was like 3 hours later I managed to get this ram. But it was, the ram obviously got super sore and he was slowing down a lot more, and we were starting to pick up and get the blood was eventually wetter and wetter. But old Rocky was there, but the bugger was, it's
He just wouldn't
difficult.
pull it.
He wouldn't chase it to stop, and it was also one of those, when you're in that thick situation, the dog is smaller than you, he's running under the cover.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, we're talking about a little Vorsointjie, a little Dacian cross that's brilliant. And he was nervous at the same time. So it was, he would take the blood and he'd be 5-10 meters in front of you, but you don't see him.
Yeah.
He's there, but you don't see him. But meanwhile, that bushbuck is standing 2 meters in front of him.
Yeah.
And he kept on bumping the ram, but he wouldn't, when the ram ran off or barked at him, he'd run back at us.
Yeah, you wouldn't chase
But
it.
at least we knew when we lost blood, we watched where he went, and we kind of would go 5-10 meters and we'd find a pool of blood.
Yeah.
So we were slowly catching up to this ram that was just eluding us. Eventually we got to a point that the ram had actually doubled back. He was going back to where he came from. So we were literally where he bust out. He looked like he was going down to the river, turned around, came back up the ridge. Didn't want to drop off the ridge on either, just ran the ridge all the way back to where he came from, clearly his home.
Yeah.
And he obviously got to a point where he actually bedded in some super thick stuff. He kind of went down after we bumped him like 4 or 5 times, and he's barked at us 2 or 3 times. And I was getting really displaced, and I said to the guys at yes, chaps, are we going to actually
get
see this ram
Yeah.
before he sees us?
Yeah. And in all of this, the vets contacted you. I've gone and set myself up
Along
below the river. We've got the security company that's come to chase the poachers. So it's turned
Yeah.
into a freaking circus.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting front stop. The vet comes down. He gets there. We get set up along the road because we are in comms.
Yeah.
And you're saying it's heading that direction. So we're getting to this point where we need to just try and cut it off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because like I said, now you don't know. Like I said, there's blood, there's bones. I have no cooking clue
Where the bullet
has exploded or done what. Anyway, we eventually got to a point where the actual ram got up, gave Rocky a fright. I saw the brown ram duck to the left, going down the hill, and Rocky booked it to the right, but turned and got some confidence because I was close by, and actually came towards the ram barking. And I tried to encourage him as much as I can, and I found the blood, so I cut track and I found the blood, and it went down one of the game trails, and eventually it turned. But I kept watching Rocky, and I've got the trackers, they're keeping the blood, but I'm watching Rocky, and for some unknown reason, the trackers were behind me on my right, and I was looking in front of me, but it's literally looking into like a mesh. You see these little pockets, and I saw Rocky pick his head up. He's obviously got scent of it, and he walks like a cat, and he just stood, and he just was staring.
And he obviously
clocked it, but he's not too sure. And with that, I saw the ram. It must have been about 25 meters in front of me in this thick stuff. I literally saw a brown patch. At the end of the day, I don't know what I was aiming at. I saw, there's the ram. I saw his horn sticking out. I knew it was my wounded ram because the blood's in that direction. I literally picked up, put the cross on that brown body. I said, I just need to get another bullet in to slow it down. I shot, the ram spun, and Rocky got,
he says, now
it's mine now. I'm done. Where the complete nervous dog turned into, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And he took off. But then that stage, I was like, I've already got one poor dog that's been poked. Can you imagine my brother now with his second dog being poked? I think I got more freaking thorns in me and whatever the way I went down there. But I obviously stunned the ram. I clipped him across his neck. So I think I took obviously that main sinew out, so it dizzied him. And the ram went down. But in the process the ram went down, Rocky was on his back leg, so he couldn't stand up, and I managed to get there and finish the ram off. So it's not a nice situation. I hate wounding things, but it was one of those. I don't know if I had bullet failure.
That must have been because by looking at that, it doesn't look right.
I hit the bullet, the ram on the shoulder, just behind the shoulder. Where I was aiming for, but it blew out the front of the shoulder, so it almost didn't penetrate the chest cavity.
But the funny thing, guys, looking at the entrance of it, Ryan's shooting with his 243. That's a little 6mm. It should be a little pinprick hole, but the whole size is like he'd shot it with a 4.58. That was the entrance wound was a massive. So I think that bullet failed on the surface. On the skin,
because it blew. I mean,
because the front of it was a hole the size of a mini football. So and it, very interesting. Very little blood for a massive hole exit cavity. Like that.
But then that's And everybody says bushbuck are soft animals to a certain degree, but man, that thing's still tough.
Yes, it needs evil.
You know, and I mean, like I said, I nearly gave up an hour and a half before that. Going,
well, there goes my ram.
There's the ram. We're going to have to find something dead later on, you know. And we managed to put it out of its misery. But
one hell of a freaking day.
Yes. I think I got sunstroke and
both of us
exhaustion.
Looking a bit like tomatoes from the heat. It was but that's the African sun for you guys. If you want to come and hunt late season, be prepared to have a lot of sunscreen, and you're going to drink a lot of water because you're going to
33 degrees.
Yeah. So the exciting part is Aldevet had rushed off and he'd come back to help us there to try and get this ram. But I got to take Michael, his son, for bush pig. Man, and we got the pigs on bait, and you went and sat with them for Nick. They gave you a bit of the run around there. But unfortunately recently I've put cattle in that area. We had to move our stock. And the pigs had found the bones. We'd collected all the cattle. We had collected all the bones and packed them underneath the blind because I want to cart them away and toss them. And the damn cattle had ripped the bags and started chewing on the bones. And myself and Michael get to this bait site and throw out some extra maize, and we get all comfortable. And the cows had left, and the pigs had been coming in 7 o'clock every night for the last 4 nights. So I thought this is going to be a nice, easy, quiet sit.
8 o'clock.
Back in time for dinner. Man, and definitely clockwork, 7 o'clock comes and what do we hear? I'm like, is that a pig? No, that sounds too big for the pig. So Michael and I both on the edge of our seats looking at this. Here comes a damn cow.
Come look for the bones.
Eventually a whole herd of cattle are standing in front of us. chewing on the bones, they're not touching our corn or anything, but the pigs will eventually come in. But
Obviously,
just because the cattle are there, instead of them coming at their 7 o'clock, they'll wait for the cattle to move off. It gets a bit quiet and they come in. So eventually I decide, I say, Michael, stay here. I'm going to go chase all the cows away. So I run out there. You know, I've been off freaking sun-baked and cooked. So I put a pair of shorts on that evening and I stuff my damn boots. I put my Crocs on. I'm going to go sit there, you know, comfortably. Now I must go chase these cows. And I'm running, slipping in cow shit, throwing bones at the things, trying to chase them away from the feeder. Got them away, and then we sat for another hour after that. We did hear something. It definitely wasn't a cow. But I just think with a bit of the extra commotion and the
It's just more wary.
But I take my hat off to Michael's, or 12. Also another young hunter that we've taken, and avid hunter, and he did a great job. So stay tuned for that one. We're going to be taking him to try and get his first big bush pig ball on the bait side. So that's going to be an awesome one. Maybe I'll get him to come talk on a little podcast here and see. Yeah, you'll fit right in with us.
Yeah.
So guys, that was our epic weekend, from getting a buffalo, chasing a warthog, getting a bushbuck,
Chasing a bushbuck.
Yeah, it was one hell of an adventure.
It seems to be the buff thing, buff bushbuck.
Buff, bushbuck, bush pig. Yeah. Hey, maybe if you guys want, drop me in the comments there and let's see if we put a package together. Guys, you are interested, we do buff, bush pig and bushbuck, the 3 Bs. Let's see if anyone's keen on something like that. But if any of you are wanting to jump on board Zwai's Back a Buddy campaign, please, man, hit the link in description or head on to any of my social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. You'll find the link there. Get on board, share with anyone, donate what you can, because we need to get Zwai across the finish line. Super excited. That's going to be coming up in the next podcast. We are going to see the doctor this week for his first fitting or casting of his new prosthetic.
Awesome.
So that's going to be awesome to get the man back on 2 feet. But guys, if you're enjoying this, catch us in the next one. And till later. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.